As the 2024 Bassmaster Opens schedule comes to a wrap, the 2025 Bassmaster Opens schedule has been announced. We're going to talk about it. Some breaking news here. Bassmaster has announced their 2025 Bassmaster Opens or Elite Qualifiers schedule for 2025. As you guys have seen, there is a brand new format in how the Opens is going to be structured next year. And if you haven't seen that, we'll drop that link down below where you can go check that out on Bassmaster's website. But essentially, to give you guys a quick high-level gist of it, there's two divisions made up of 4 tournaments each with a boat cap on each of them. So anglers have the decision to either fish one or the other of the division. And then the top 50 from each division will move on to a third division that is in the fall after both divisions have wrapped up to determine who out of the last 4 events will then qualify for the Bassmaster Elite Series. So again, you can read more on that down below, but to give you guys an idea, these 2 divisions, this is what is going to be announced for the schedule for 2025. And I think this is a great schedule. This is one of the best ones in the Opens, at least in my opinion. It could be the new format that's just creating some new spice to this, but really, I think the new locations on this really bring it to life. They show diversity. And one thing to note here is they do have the same electronics rules in the Opens as the 2025 Bassmaster Elite Series as well. To keep things consistent, could be really, in that elite qualifiers, the training grounds for the Elite Series. So to get into it quick, to give you guys the information that you came to this episode for, the first division of the Opens is as follows. January 23rd to 25th out of Evans, Georgia, Clarks Hill Reservoir. We've seen some of the MLF events down there. Dakota Ebert, I believe, won that event. Don't quote me. Great fishing, big fish as well. That could be interesting. I don't know what it's like in January. We're going to have some shows here coming up on Serious Angler, as well as Business from the Bass Boat next week. We'll be diving way further into this, so you guys can stay tuned for the Business from the Bass Boat episode next week. Deacon is going to break down all this stuff in full detail. But we're here giving you guys the deets, what's going on in the bass fishing tournament scene. Next, they're going to the Tom Bigby River, which I have never heard before. If you have, comment down below, because it's very intriguing. Got a cool name to it. Tom Bigby River in Columbus, Mississippi, April 16th to the 18th. Moving on to a couple-month break to July 23rd to the 25th, the Upper Chesapeake Bay out of Northeast Maryland. And then finishing the season in smallmouth country in the St. Lawrence River out of Waddington, New York, July 31st to August 2nd. So that is the one division right there, 4 events. Your top 50 from there will move on. Division 2, you have starting in February 13th to 15th out of Jasper, Texas. You have Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Then moving on to Kentucky Lake / Lake Barkley, March 6th through the 8th out of Paris, Tennessee. And then in April 3rd to 5th, you're in Mountain Home, Arkansas at Norfolk Lake. I believe I pronounced that wrong. Norfolk. You have to excuse me here because I cannot speak. And then finishing the season where they actually visited this past year, which was a great event to watch, Leech Lake out of Minnesota. Out of Walker, Minnesota, August 14th through 16th. Now, you'll notice in both of these, you got in the first division, you got Georgia, Mississippi, Maryland, New York. In the second division, you got Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Minnesota. A lot of diversity there amongst just the fisheries as well, but also in regions. So there's just about, we'll have to do the math here, but just about equidistant travel for each division here. What I like about this, especially format, to give you guys a quick download, is I really like that there's a lot of diversity here. So you're showing anglers that have to prove themselves in multiple regions, multiple different style fisheries here, but also you're appeasing to the working man by only having 4 divisions. And if they qualify, they do have to have the means to go on and fish 4 more events. And actually, I'm going to halt myself. I apologize. It is not 4 events. It is 3. Move on to 3 events. So backtrack what I said earlier. It is 4 events in these divisions, but the top 50 from each division move on to the top remaining 3 events to finish the season. It's not 4 and 4, it's 4 and 3. So 7 events, which is still basically a full schedule minus 1 location. You still have to have the means to have the time off to do so, the means and the financials to do so, as well as being able to compete against the Elite Series, who are allowed to come down and compete in those last 3 events. But that being said, too, you don't have to commit to 7 events off the get. If you go through a division, you're halfway through and you're struggling, you can get out. You don't have to have the money and the financial. It's still giving that working man that had a complaint about the all 9 an opportunity here. It's basically a best of both worlds in my eyes. I hope they keep this, they stick to it. But nonetheless, you guys came here to talk about the schedule. I really like the diversity of it. I'm curious what you guys think. Comment down below and make sure you guys tune into the next upcoming Business from the Bass Boat episode where Deacon is going to dive into all the details on this schedule. Sure, we'll get somebody on from the Opens themselves that'll be fishing them next year. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.